So I've been playing around with a couple of other technologies in these past couple of weeks, and I wanted to kind of like circle back and explain to you all what I still think the most productive tech choices are, like your most productive tech stack. Like there's a lot of new stuff coming out. There's like Next with the app directory becoming stable. There's server actions and Next. I've been playing around with Maintime on this new project here, which so far it works pretty good. I mean, I don't have too many complaints about it. It has a lot of built-in functionality. And I've been playing with Supabase on another side project, which I mean, so far it's working pretty good. I'm using like I started off with like the row level security, and I decided that it just didn't feel right. It felt like I was baking in all my authentication and authorization into my database, and I'd rather have that business logic live in my API. So I kind of got rid of all that. So I just been kind of playing around, trying to figure out like what is the most productive tech stack. Like what tech stack would I personally pick right now today if someone were to come to me and say, hey, I need you to build an app and I need you to build it as fast as possible. And I will say that it still is the T3 stack, meaning Tailwind CSS. I love Tailwind. It's so easy to just copy and paste like templates or styles. Like I can have a complete landing page within 5 minutes by just going to any of these like Tailwind component. And there's this nice library called ShadCN UI, which has like a ton of built-in components that you can just kind of like add in. So again, I think Tailwind is still my favorite go-to. And I think it's still a favorite for a lot of people out there. And every time I come back to this side project that's using Maintime, I just wish I was using Tailwind. It's like, there's nothing against Maintime. It's just like, I just miss Tailwind. I just feel like there's more flexibility with it. Like I feel more creative using it. Obviously, it takes more work to like make your own components and add stuff in, but I just feel like it's a better. It's easier to come in here and just tweak stuff. Like, okay, what if I just want to add a little spacing between this? Well, now I have to go to Maintime and understand how like whatever props are passed in here to give some spacing between this. Next, with the pages directory, I've said this on my channel before. I'm going to reiterate this. I just don't think the app router is ready yet. I know other people on YouTube say it's fine to use the app router and it's stable now, but there's something about it. It's just I don't like it. Maybe it's because I'm so used to using the T3 stack with like React Query in the front end. But when people talk about the app router, sometimes they're talking about server actions, and server actions are not even stable. They're still alpha, and I do not think you should be touching server actions until they at least get to a beta. So in terms of Next, I mean, like a lot of people probably ask, why am I not doing the app router in my videos? And to be honest, I do think the pages router is a lot easier to understand. When you start using the app router, you have to understand like the context switching between which components are React server components that only work on the back end, which components are client components. How do you like share state between your client components when there are different levels of the tree? There's just a lot more you kind of have to understand when it comes to the app router and React server components, in my opinion, that I personally still like the pages router. I think there's a lot more flexibility that the app router can give you. But in terms of like me and being the most productive I can be, I don't even do like proper server-side rendering when I'm doing the T3 stack. I just kind of like use React Query to fetch all my data from my tRPC endpoints, and I think that works pretty fine. I'm also seeing a bunch of people make like tutorial videos on the app router, and they're using server actions in their videos, which it's kind of, it's a red flag to me. I mean, it's great that there's people trying to learn about them, but it's still an alpha feature. So if you are a beginner and you're trying to learn like, what are the bare minimum I need to get a job, I would probably not learn server actions yet because they are still alpha. Okay? I would not bet on server actions until they get to a stable release. And then you can probably start learning about them. Also, a lot of stuff just doesn't work with the app router. Like there's a lot less resources out there. There's a lot less blog posts. When you do a Google search about like something in Next, a lot of the stuff is going to come up with the pages router. So from a learning curve, I think the app router is actually a little bit more challenging, although it does, like I said, it provides a lot of cool flexibility and features that I do like. And I do want to transition to it at some point, but I'm not going to transition until server actions are in production. Now let's talk about the next thing, Prisma. Prisma is still pretty good. There's things about Prisma I do not like. For example, like the serverless cold starts can be an issue. I know they said that they fixed that recently, but I haven't really done much investigation to see if that's actually true. But Prisma is really awesome. Like you can really build your data models really quick with Prisma and like apply them to your database, create your migration scripts for you. My main gripes with Prisma is that when you change your model and you like apply your migrations, you end up having to like restart your Next server. You have to restart your Prisma Studio, and it's just a kind of a big pain in the butt. Like I wish I didn't have to do that. And sometimes I waste like 5 minutes because stuff is not showing up in my code because I forgot to restart my Next server. So there is a new thing that people talk about. I don't think this is even production ready yet. This is still like beta or alpha or something. I don't know. I know a lot of people are probably using it in production, but you know my standpoint on using things that are not version 1.0. But Drizzle ORM, it's another ORM that doesn't use like Rust under the hood. It just uses TypeScript, and it gives you that the same functionality, I believe, as like Prisma for creating your migration scripts and applying them to your database. So if I was going to try to do some more investigation or research, I think this will be the next ORM that I look into to potentially replace Prisma. But still, Prisma is still pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie about that. TRPC again is like, I don't know. I think TRPC is maybe the most productive at building out these full stack applications than I've ever been in my career. Like I feel like the connection between the front and the back end is so simple now with all the type safety that I would not want to move away from anything that doesn't use TRPC at this point. As long as you don't need like a public REST API, then if you can just do like a backend for a front end using TRPC, I think it's a good choice. As you guys have seen on my channel and probably watching my course, it's so easy to build like a completely connected front end and back end using Prisma and like React query and stuff that I don't know. It's going to take a lot of convincing for me to actually switch over fully to the app router from the productivity gains I've seen from TRPC. What other technology is in the T3 stack? We got Next, Tailwind, Prisma, TypeScript, of course. I don't know what else I can really say. I would just say that my go-to choice still would be T3 stack, and I think they're still working on like trying to get it set up with the app router. But like I said, like the Pages router is perfectly fine. You can still build like awesome production-ready apps with the Pages router. I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about in this video. I mean, like a lot of people want to live on the latest and greatest of things, but there's times when I'm using the app router and Next and server actions where I've actually contemplated about switching to Remix. Like the more I use Next, the more I realize that like a lot of these features that we're getting in Next are literally provided in Remix and they've been around for years. Like Nuxt also has a lot of these features. I don't know. I keep seeing Vercel just like trying to ship more things. Like I just saw a post that they're going to ship some AI stuff with their product soon. And I kind of wish they would hold back on shipping stuff and actually like make sure Next is like fully polished and like they'd fix some of their 1.8 thousand issues on their GitHub repo. So I don't know. I'm getting like second thoughts about Next at this point, but I'm going to continue on with it because that's what I'm used to. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. If you guys enjoyed watching, be sure to give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and press the bell icon. And like always, I have a Discord channel you're welcome to join if you want to find a place to talk with me or other developers or just ask questions if you're stuck on anything. Have a good day and happy coding.